Welcome to Real Estate Success Partner. We're your hosts, Devin Dubuc,
David Wynn,
and we're here to talk about how to have success in any market. And today that market's Arkansas. And David, brother, again, you keep finding the coolest people out there, man. Who'd you bring up here today?
Oh, this guy's pretty cool. It's Drew Lawson from Arkansas, broker owner. Does a ton of transactions,
He does.
A lot of land. I want to definitely talk about the land loans that he does. But Drew, welcome.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you taking time. We know you're busy. So, we try to keep these things quick, get you back out there doing what you do. But what part of Arkansas are you hailing from?
Well, I live in central Arkansas, just north of Little Rock. My office is in Conway. I live in a small community, a county over. We got Dollar General and 2 gas stations, and that's about all she wrote. So I try to stay.
Blink and you'll miss it.
Huh?
So blink and you'll miss it.
Pretty much. No stop signs.
Yes,
cop every so often to school. That's about it. So,
yes, sir.
I'll travel. Like I prefer to work with sellers. So we'll list for food. We'll travel for quality listings. So I don't try to pissle myself too far, in one pigeonhole. If it's good enough, I'll travel. But mainly, central Arkansas and the counties that touch counties that I live and operate in. So
there it is. So you offer up a good dinner and he's there.
We'll work for food.
So how's a guy like you get into real estate? How long you been in real estate, Drew? People want to know.
I got licensed in 2008. When I was 18, I was working Hank's Fine Furniture, and one of the managers there was kind of coached me up a little bit, kind of put me on the path of real estate. Told me I could buy some houses for under value if I was negotiating deals straight with the mortgage company, finding foreclosures before they were getting foreclosed on, things like that. And so I had a corporate job. First 6 years I had a real estate license. When that came to an end, I just picked up and went real estate full time, and it's been a great decision.
But 2008, man, that's when the crash was, the big crash.
Hey, you're looking for people who ain't paying their bills. That's a pretty good time to get into it.
Yeah, there's always an opportunity to capitalize, right? You just have to know what side of the business you need to be on.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, good stuff. So, been in the industry since 2008, own your own brokerage. You're doing a heck of a lot of business out there in Arkansas. What kind of drew you to, the side of the business you're in, right? I know you do a lot of land stuff, right? How'd you get more into that direction?
When you first hear about real estate or you get into real estate, I went and talked to some high school kids, last month or so. These kids aren't going to college. They're going to be going straight into workforce. And so they were, at this, I went and talked 2 days, and the second day there was about 5 kids in there that wanted to be real estate agents. And I'm thinking,
I bet they did.
Which way do you want to go? Because, you just think houses, you just think for sale by owners, but the truth is there's so many different facets of real estate you can get into. You can only sell houses, you can only sell land, you can specialize in subdivision land, gas stations, hotels, you name it, somebody wants to buy it. But initially, my business really took off probably first of when COVID hit, I would say. We're on lockdown, I work alone most of the time, so I was looking for land personally for my family up in Searcy County, Arkansas is really where it happened.
Yeah.
Driving around, getting plat books, getting my maps, looking for the right piece of property for myself. When I was doing all this legwork and all this homework, I was thinking, well, I'm finding all these people. I might as well just be selling their property for them.
That's right.
And so I started transitioning to that. I found out the buyers call the land listing agents a lot more than they do if you list a house. If I list a house 9 out of 10 times, another agent's going to bring me the buyer, which is fine. Don't have a problem working with other agents. In fact, appreciate them. But on land, most of the time, those people end up calling the listing broker, listing agent. So, you get the buyer and the seller, you typically make a little bit more money. It definitely makes deals easier to flow. Things like that, but that's how it went. I started cold calling people left and right and asking for the business, and then it just took off from there even more.
That's awesome. Well, and there's no shortage of land in Arkansas, right? So at the end of the day, it's definitely an opportunistic state. So ultimately, how do you identify those nuggets, right? When you're out there, are you finding these people, or they just know your name and they're coming to you, or
no,
are you identifying property?
I ask them, I look for stuff that I would like to own that I can't afford, and I call. And I think if I can't own it, maybe I can sell it. If I get to sell it, I get
There
to
it is.
walk it and I get to drive it and I get to pretend that it's mine for a minute and meet good quality people. You know, you get good quality land listings, you're going to meet good quality
That's right.
buyers. You know, people with lots of money like to buy land, and people who make new money and never had money want to buy some land. And then there's lots of people in Arkansas that have lots of land that don't have a lot of money, and things get bad. They tend to let something go occasionally. So
Sure.
it's just a numbers game.
Yeah. Well, you're connecting people, you're connecting people because, you like you said, you figured out the magic formula, it's just good old fashioned legwork to figure out where the good stuff is. And you start developing those relationships. I'd imagine you probably have some folks come directly to you at this point in time and say, hey, you're the land guy, list it for me. Right.
It's getting better.
Yeah.
I wish it happened all the time that way. Sometimes I'll be driving home and I'll be thinking, well, how did that guy get that listing? But it's just there's more than enough to go around out here, and we don't have to poach each other's listings. It's just there's lots of parcels in Arkansas you can sell.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
you're almost exclusively land. I'm looking at your production here. Do you ever sell any single family house anymore?
Man, we don't discriminate on listings. We take whatever
No,
we
you
want.
don't.
So
Hey,
I have
people
some
wanna
residential
know.
listings. They sell real quick. Like if I could,
Right.
obviously I'd rather be selling, a $250,000 house rather than a $30,000 lot. But
Right.
there's a lot more competition on those houses. There's a lot of agents fishing in the same pond where we live, and so you get outside to these more rural communities, and you're able to start picking up business there. More of those local people call because a lot of times they're tired of dealing with the same one or two agents that are there, or they've had a bad experience, or they just don't want to deal with somebody that they know. But that's it, man. Just get out and get it. But we'll take.
So you being the landman, I always like to talk because there's the land loan's a little bit different than single family homes. What do you send them for financing? Are a lot of it just cash offers? I tell people, and I'm a mortgage guy. We do land loans, but we have to have a certain amount. Anything less than that, I typically say go to the local bank in that county. They'll typically do the land loans. What coming from you? What's your suggestion for land loans?
I mean, people that have the money, or they're dealing with their local lender, or we've got a company called Farm Credit that's in Arkansas. That's one office in each county, and then if you're buying property in that county, you deal with that office. But that's it. Most of the time, I don't have to direct people very often. I got a client that owner finances a lot of land. He's a large landowner, and those deals are very easy as well. If you get into land contracts as a buyer, just make sure that you're getting a mortgage and a note recorded. That way, it's not an unrecorded land contract. You want to have a paper trail. That way, you've got a deeded interest and an invested interest in your equity position. And seen a lot of people get swindled out of their money because it's an unrecorded land contract. They don't quite know how it goes, and there's always unethical people out there, but there are also good people out there. So.
That's where you come in. You come in to help, dot those I's and cross those T's and make sure they're doing the right thing so that they are protected, because that's super important. And, a lot of people don't realize this, but when you're purchasing land, a lot of the times that land's been in a family for years, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes there's other people that have deeded interest to that property. So if you're not getting your title policy or, making sure that you're getting it recorded properly, at the end of the day, you may not own what you think you own. And that's what you're talking about here, is having somebody that, like you, right, that can guide the customer through that process, help them make sure that they don't get themselves in a bad position, and they always come out on the right side, right?
Yeah, don't be cheap. Pay for surveys up front. I always like it when the neighbor says, "That's my fence row and that's my property," yes. And I'm like, "But it encroaches and it takes in 7 of our acres." And we've been that way since beginning of time, and it's. That's it. I see it go both ways, but it's still a pain in the butt having to get a lawyer, having to go to court, having to pay the money and delay stuff for 6 months or a year. So,
yeah. But, we've got a product we do here, where we don't require a title policy on certain things. It's called an attorney opinion letter in lieu of a title. But one thing we don't do it on is land, right? Because at the end of the day, it's exactly what you talk about. A lot of these landowners, it's been there for generations, and nobody's really sat down and identified exactly where those lot lines end and begin, right? So, again, you're spitting some knowledge there with, hey, get it surveyed off. Make sure you know exactly what you're buying, right? And then get it recorded with the county, so at the end of the day, you've got what you actually, intended to purchase, right?
Yeah, that's right. I would say record it. Make sure you have deed of legal access too. If it seems too good to be true, it's probably a reason. I've been a victim of buying landlocked land at a very good price, but sometimes it's pain in the butt getting that access. And who wants to go to court and be unneighborly with your neighbors? So,
that's right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that, though. So, lots of land in Arkansas. I'm interested in purchasing, right? You're interested in selling.
Mm-hmm.
What's the expectation, right? What are lands lots going for? By the acre out there in
It
in
depends
Arkansas.
on where it's at.
Varied by the region of the state. What's that look like?
Depending on what you're buying, if you're, some counties are a lot cheaper than others. I'd say the cheapest land in Arkansas is probably $1,000 to $1,500 an acre if you can find it. Probably rugged mountain land, possibly swamp land, which is good for hunting. Land that's been put in conservation easements that's just tied up for 30 years or indefinitely. Government does programs like that, take things in and out of farm land and things like that. But I don't know. Shoot, man, the best commercial stuff brings $10 or $20 a foot. That's $500,000 to $1 million an acre. So obviously those clientele and those listings are a lot harder to get. Most of the big guys already got agents and brokers sewed up in long-term relationships, and sellers, if they've got good enough stuff, they've been approached by lots of people like
They've
me.
been scouting
a lot
for
of times
years.
have a bad taste in their mouth, but it's a variety. 1,000 to
100%.
$1 million, but a lot of $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9,000 an acre land.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's your normal consumer looking for, right? Is this typically, you mentioned hunting, right? A lodge, a place to go out and just do a little.
There's no telling. You don't ever know what makes their wheels turn. It's just listing. A listing is like a fishing lure, and you never know what's going to trigger that fish to bite. So you get a good listing, a good buyer is going to come up and nibble, and if it fits, it fits, and if it don't, it don't. But, there's no rhyme or reason what makes people tick.
Have you seen a lot more out-of-state buyers in the last couple of years, or the same amount?
I don't know. I mean, I deal with people out of state. I guess I would judge on how many mail-outs I have.
Right.
I don't know. Probably so. People moving in. I have a rule, though. I don't want to sell you anything unless you come down here and see it, because you're not going to be mad at me if you're not happy with your purchase when you get here. So you come to Arkansas. Let's go meet. Let's go look at this, and let's see if it's going to work for you. And so.
It's good stuff. And you mentioned you get out there and walk the land. You get out there in ATVs too, and kind of rip and run around, or how's that look?
Well, yeah, you got to look good. You got to have them side by sides, and used to be 4-wheelers and 3-wheelers and dirt
take
bikes.
me through the experience, brother. I want to hear it. What are we doing? We're getting out there to get rough, right?
I tell my wife I want one of them things called a Sherp, and it's like this 4-wheel drive. They're $100,000. She said, "Why you need something like that?" And I go, "That way I look good coming and going. Whether I sell something or not, they're going to want to go look with me in this land in this, this expensive toy. It's a tax write-off, but I'm not quite to that level.
Yes, sir, it is.
So,
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's 100% tax write-off. You should be able to sell that this year.
That's my mechanic. Can I write the duck boat off? He says, "I don't know." And I said, "Well, we're going to take it out for somebody for a spin. It's tax deductible."
Hey, put your side on it, then you can write it off.
I'm about to buy some land just because I want to get out and have some fun here, man. You sound like you have a good time out there.
Decent day at the office for sure.
Yeah, 100%. So, again, some people know Arkansas, some people don't know Arkansas. You mentioned mountainous lands, right? What does the state have to offer, right? When you're looking to buying something out there, what are you selling? What is it? What are we looking at?
So I think Arkansas is a great state, even though we got a bad reputation for being 49 out of 50. Only Mississippi's worse than us, they say. It's the joke. I don't know if it's true or not. But
I love Arkansas, so I don't share that philosophy.
If Arkansas was a country and you put a fence around Arkansas is going to do just fine. Arkansas has got pristine farmlands, the Delta. We grow all sorts of agricultural crops, corn, rice, soybean, cotton. We make our own clothes. We got outstanding water supplies and streams and rivers and hydroelectric dams. In the northwest part of the state, you got the mountainous regions, Fayetteville, Walmart, Bentonville, J.B. Hunt, Tyson. We feed the nation. We feed the world. there's Arkansas's cost of living's pretty low compared to other states. You can still get by on a decent income here and make ends meet. It's just whatever you want. Nice flowing rivers, mountaintop views, farmland, subdivision lots. I mean, everybody wants a piece of land. And I've sold everything from a $3,000 lot to a $1 million farm. It's just everybody gets excited about owning land.
Well, I think people people that haven't been don't understand Arkansas. It's truly a beautiful state. Again, you talk about the mountaintop views and you talk about the rivers and a lot of wildlife out there. It's absolutely gorgeous. I have a feeling you probably do a little fishing and hunting. Am I correct?
If I have time.
Well, we know you don't have much of that because, again, we've seen the production report.
Yeah.
And, again, because you're not centralized in one location, I have a feeling you probably do a lot of driving. What is that average, runaround time when you're out there showing these properties?
I don't know, man. I probably do. I fill up every other day usually, probably do 30,000 miles a year driving around doing what I do. And
So you got what, a truck, and then you load up a side by side, and you're.
I drive an SUV. I drive a Toyota, and it pulls a trailer just fine with the side by side.
Yeah.
Do a lot of walking.
So I'm interested in buying something. I come out there. We're hopping in the SUV. We're driving out there, and we're hitting it hard. Seeing what this place has to offer.
Most time I meet the people there. I mean, very rarely do I have somebody jump in the vehicle with me and ride. They usually, and they have their own toys now, but if they want to ride with me, we can. But, we meet out there, we'll unload the vehicle side by side, and we'll go for a little spin. And or we'll walk it. I've not hired a chopper yet, but I would if it's a big enough listing. I sure would.
I think we need to trade jobs. You're having way more fun than I am.
I don't know.
Your job sounds like what I do when I'm
it's the headache side. It's, we don't get paid till the deal's inked and the funds are closed at closing. Right. So, we work a lot for free too sometimes. And it's always hard.
Let's talk about that. You're also a broker owner of your own brokerage there. Is it just so? Who works for you? Is it just? I know it's not just you.
Well, we're mainly a company of broker owners. We don't have a couple part-time agents that, they might be full-time, but they're new. We don't attract, we're not a national franchise. We're not nationally known. A lot of agents like to have that national clout. They like to have that, they just feel like if they work for a big national brand, they're going to do better, and that's fine. But we're just a small little local firm, sell more or equal, or we hold our own for sure against these big corporate giants. But people aren't knocking down our door to come work. And then honestly, we probably don't want you if you do. And if you do come around, you're going to starve for a little while because I don't trust you. We're not going to give you I'm not going to give you my secret until I trust you. I'm not going to tell you how I do it so you can go and start your own company and compete directly against me. But I say I'll be happy to teach somebody because there's more than enough to go after out here if you decide what you want. What I do and how I do is not necessarily real estate related. Part of it is and part of it's not. So I could teach anybody how to do this. It's just they got to have the vision to figure out what they like and what they want to sell and then go do it and be the best at their craft. So,
yeah. Well, it definitely sounds like you found a nice little niche and something that you love, because I can tell you like to get outdoors. And I think that's important. We got to do something that we're passionate about, right? At the end of the day, if work is just work, we're not having any fun. I get the feeling you definitely have a good time doing what you do.
I do. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So is it just you? You got a family? What's when you're not out there driving across the state of Arkansas, what you got going on?
Oh, he has a full crew. Tell about it, Drew.
This is how it goes. Yes, sir. I'm Drew Lawson. I'm a real estate land broker, and I'd like to see if I might be able to get your business. Well, why do you need my business? Sir, I got a mama, I got a wife, and I got 4 daughters. That's why I need your business.
My man.
I don't know. What was the question that I kind of went off rambling about?
No, you answered it.
Family life. Yeah, I got a fleet of women, which is funny because I was super all brothers growing up. Now I just surrounded by women, so it's good stuff.
I think
Got
that's
them
where
ready
that sense
for
of humor
college
comes
to
from.
3 years old.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you've got some successful ones out there already, starting their own lives, right? And then you got the newborns at home
We
that are
hope.
still
We
crawling
hope.
around and figuring it out.
I was doing a deal one time, and guy said, "Yeah, my daughter just moved back in with her kids." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah. They never leave now. They just leave for a little while and they come back home with their baggage." And I was like, "Well, okay."
Well,
So,
Dave and I both know how that works. I've got well, my oldest boy just turned 21 yesterday, so
yeah. Well, that's what we do, though. So I guess.
Yeah.
100%, 100%. Well, that's good stuff. So, I got to ask you, is there anything that we haven't covered today that you need to cover? Right? Is there anything that you'd like to get out there? I know we were talking about a couple things in the green room. Any topics you'd like to explore today?
I don't know. I was just, we're a little brokerage firm, so a lot of this big national news I've seen on. I want to know what these brokers and these agents are saying about the buyer's agents commissions.
Yeah.
There was a tipping point in my career where you feel confident enough to say, "I'm going to represent you, the buyer, and you need to pay me." There's certain times when I'm putting deals together where I'm strictly working for the buyer, and it's the buyer's paying me, and it makes it a lot easier. But a lot of these buyer's agents, they're living off these buyer's agents' commissions, and it looks like that stuff's going away. I'm interested in what people are saying about that. I feel like it'll be a good opportunity if you're a listing agent or a listing broker, so. But if you're strictly a buyer's agent, I think you'll have to do some growth and some adapting, honestly. But I don't know. Does anybody talk to you about that?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
we talk about it every day.
day.
So it's the rule that came down is it's not that the buyers can't pay for the commission; they just can't advertise it. So they're still working that out. It's not black and white. It's gonna be years.
So they're
of unraveling
saying
before.
that you say that again. You can't advertise the sale. I'll get
You
my
can't
commission from the
advertise
seller.
the seller is paying for the commission for the buyer's agent.
I
That's the
don't
big
cost
thing.
you anything. The seller
Yeah,
will pay
but
me.
again, you go in. I got, for example, I got some friends selling their house right now. One of the things they said to me goes, "Hey, we just heard we don't have to pay the people to the buyer's agent commission." I go, "You need to talk to your listing agent about that, because they talk to their listing agent. Guess what? They're going to pay it. They're going to pay the 6%. They're going to pay 3% to the buyer and 3% to the listing agent, because if they don't advertise it, who's going to come see their house? Who's going to?" So again, I think it's subject. I think it's subjective.
Well, I think it's going to be market based, right?
Yeah.
I do think, because, there's certain areas here, even in Dallas, Fort Worth, where, they're exclusive neighborhoods, they sell themselves, right? Those homes come up for market and they're going to move immediately. In fact, they're going to have multiple offers, a lot of cash offers, right? And in those scenarios, I could see why there might be some question as to why the buy side agent, is going to get commission, other than, the protection for the person to make sure that they're not walking into a trap, right? However, at the same time, you've got other subdivisions that are less marketable, right? And just putting that information out there for the consumer to see and listing it. We're a big city, right? We're a metropolitan city. And, the way that a lot of people look at this is, do you want to have an army of people out there marketing your house for you? Right? Or do you want to have one person out there marketing your house for you? And at the end of the day, the folks that, are in an area where the homes just don't sell themselves, right? And, there's a wide variety of people that are there. A lot of folks are going to want that additional representation, so I think there's going to be a lot of different things here that are going to define, when they're going to get commission, when they're not. But I think there were going to be some scenarios here where buy-side agents may not get paid, right? But again, I think it's going to be market-based.
I think it's going to work itself out, and I think the wheels are going to keep on spinning. So
It always does.
money makes the
we
world
started
go
this
around.
thing off by saying you got started.
Hey guys, it's Devin.
And David.
We're your real estate success partners. Hey, if you're enjoying these podcasts and want us to keep bringing back this content, we truly appreciate you following us. But if you could go below and subscribe or make some comments, we'd truly appreciate it. And we'll keep bringing back great content in 2024.
Yeah. Well, we started this off by saying you got started in 2008. That was one of the worst times in mortgage history, right? Yet you found a way to find success in that market. We talk about, TRID rolling out and loan originators, just a few years back going, man, I'm not going to be able to get compensated anymore. That's not the case, right? Last time I looked, we're all still here doing what we were doing. Not all of us. Some people got out. Some people are still here. With the history of real estate, we run into, situations like this often, right? Where there's a big market shift. There's something that's going on. It changes the entire way that we're doing business. But the people that are good at what they do, they'll transition, they'll change, they'll roll with the punches, they'll find success. The people that aren't good at what they're doing, they're not going to be here, right? That's the best answer, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're great at what you do, you're going to find a way to be successful. And in this industry, there's all kinds of ways to find success. You just said it, right? Find your niche. At the end of the day, your niche right now happens to be land. There may be a time when that's not the case. I'm quite confident that if that were to shift, you'd find a way to be successful, right, Drew?
I'm going to keep getting listings. It don't matter. We'll keep on listing.
So I'll ask you, Drew, what's the
Lines in
standard
the water.
commission? What's the
My
standard
man.
commission for a listing? Do you go to people selling land and go, hey, I need 3% for me and 3% for the buyer, if whoever comes, or how's that?
I don't ever have that conversation. It's just I just quote them a price and I take care of how the money when it gets divvied up. Like I don't overcomplicate it. Like
Yep.
Right.
If they ask, I'll break it down. I'll say you're hiring me at this percentage, and I'm going to take a portion of that percentage, and I'm going to advertise it so that way another agent will bring us the buyer. I'm going to give up some of my money and give it to them to bring this along and.
Hey, you need to be a listing agent and teach it.
Huh?
What a great way to sell it. You just sold it to everybody else out there.
Well, I mean, I would think if you're buying $100,000 house and the standard commission is 6% and it goes down to 3%, that's probably going to be a $97,000 house now, and the buyer would finance their 3% buyer's agent's fee, and they're thus making it a $100,000 house again. It's kind of like, how many ways can you cook an egg? If you don't like this way, we'll do it a different way. I think the money's still going to flow.
That's it.
It will.
We're on the same page.
All right.
And what you're talking about, that is the popular opinion, right? Because we do talk to agents across the U.S. and we're also involved in some coaching strategies. And we get on these conference calls with people across the United States. And at the end of the day, the former camp is that we're going to go on doing business the way we go on doing business. It will have some changes. It's going to have a slight effect. But at the end of the day, we're going to be back to business as usual once all this thing passes. And people will figure out what that's going to look like. It may have some reduced commission in there, but at the end of the day, we're still going to be buying and selling houses, and there's still going to be people making money and having success, and that's just the bottom line.
I really pet peeve of mine when agents get hung up on their commissions on what they're supposed to be making. It's some commissions better than no commission. You want to make some or you want to make none. Let's get this deal done, and but. Another day, another we could vent about certain things we don't like about the real estate business, just having just as much fun probably. So
I don't know if we have time for that, Drew.
Friday, it's almost 2:30. This is actually a slower day for me. I've been grinding hard for weeks on end, and it's finally getting caught up. I'm working on some bigger deals. I'm waiting for some pieces to fall of the puzzle, and can't be pushy. People don't like pushy. Especially on a big deal.
You can't be pushy. You got to be available, right?
Yeah.
That's it. You got to be available.
Hey, good agents, whether you're an insurance agent, real estate agent, whatever agent you are, you answer your phone, you get back to folks. You got to be available.
My man. If there's one nugget of sales skills that you just dropped, that was the one, right? Be available.
When I call somebody at like 8:30 in the morning, I'm thinking, I'm going to tell real quick what kind of agent they are. If they answer, you're all right. If not, I expected that. We'll try you back around noon. So, but.
That's good stuff, brother. And you're right on the money, though. The ones that answer, David and I talk about this all the time. He and I are talking a lot of times 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. He gets off the phone with somebody. He reaches out to me. We have communication. I interview agents that he works with all the time that are saying, the reason I work with David is that the first time we communicated, I texted him at 10 o'clock. He called me. Right? That's how this industry works, right? The person that's going to be available is the one that's going to have success. The one that wants to hide behind, whatever it is they're hiding behind and not answer the phone, they're going to be in trouble, right? That's just the way it is.
That's it.
So, well, good stuff. Well, we can't keep you here all day. We know you got Friday and weekend here, and you got 4 girls at home that are waiting for you to get there. Is there anything else we should have talked about today that we didn't?
I'm sure there is, but I don't know. If you want any more wisdom or insight into my brain, feel free to call back.
Yeah. It's probably in there somewhere. I don't know. It's late in the day. We got to get out there and do what we do, right? So, well, I've got to ask you this. So we know you're in Arkansas. We know you hit central area. You branch out all over the state, or you kind of stick within a radius?
Well, I mean, I'll cover the state. I just sold some lots in Texarkana, which is about 2.5 hours south, and the seller gives me lots of business and smaller listings a lot of times. But he said, "Drew, can you sell some land in Texarkana?" And I said, "I can if you don't have a problem with me not going down there and not putting a sign up." And we sold it. So
Boom.
it gets out there. People call, but mainly Central Arkansas. If you got a good listing, I want to hear about every opportunity, and then if it's not for me, I'll tell you. And I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear, and then do you wrong. So if it's not for me, we'll find somebody that is local that is good, and I'll even help you vet them if we need to.
It's great resource, and at the end of the day, you're right on the money. You're representing the people that you can serve, and I love that mentality, Drew. Well, when the folks out there want to find you, we know you're central. You will go where you need to go, not to Texarkana apparently, but at the end of the day,
wasn't big enough. If I was selling 1,000 acre farm in Texarkana,
I'm giving you trouble.
what time you want me there, sir? 8 a.m. Okay, I'll be there.
I think we got a bad connection. Well, hey, so when the people do want to find you out there, and we know they do, because you're connected, you're going to get their land sold, or you're going to help them find the right piece of land. How do they find you, brother? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Probably you could probably just Google my name and real estate in Arkansas, Drew Lawson, real estate Arkansas, and I'll pop up. My company's Arkansas Real Estate Solutions. We do have a website. But I'm a big believer on I'm going to meet the people that I'm supposed to meet, and I typically do. It's just funny how things work out that way. But if I'm supposed to meet you, I'll meet you. But if you want to look me up, track me down, I'm at 923 Locust Street in Conway, 3, 4, 5 days a week, traveling Arkansas in a green Toyota SUV. And if you see me, let's talk.
I like it, man. I like it. Drew, we're going to put that down there in the description so folks that do want to find you can see how to connect with Drew right here on screen. And if you're not watching the podcast and you are a listener, check out the description. We'll have all of his contact information over there. And I got to tell you, I already know for a fact if I was looking to buy some land out there in Arkansas, Drew would be my number one call. And if I'm looking to sell some land out there in Arkansas, Drew would still be my number one call, even if you're in Texarkana. Just hopefully it's a little more than an $8,000 lot. Otherwise, he's not coming out there.
Still sell it, though.
Did I get that right, Drew?
Oh, we'll travel for food.
Let's go. Dave, anything you want to say before we wrap up today?
No, man. I love talking to Drew. He cracks me up, man. He definitely knows his stuff. So if you're looking for property, not just land out there in Arkansas, in Conway area, call Drew Lawson. If you need to get a hold of him, call me. I'll tell you how to get a hold of him.
Yeah, get ready for an adventure, too, because you're going to strap on a side-by-side and get out there and have some fun. So, good stuff, brother. Good stuff. Well, thanks for joining us today, Drew. We appreciate you taking the time. We know you're a busy man, so thanks for being here today. And we're your Real Estate Success Partners. I'm Devin Dubuc.
I'm David Wynn.
And if you want to check us out, come on over to realestatesuccesspartner.com. Again, that's realestatesuccesspartner.com. Or drop over to YouTube at the Dubuc team. There you're going to find Drew, get to meet him in face, live in color, find all of his contact information. And if you're there, please subscribe, make some comments. We'd love to have you on the show. Until the next time, we'll see you then.
See you guys.